Welcome to April's Garage, the greatest automotive channel in all of YouTube land. I'm at Barrett-Jackson, and this, behold, the 2026 Corvette ZR1X, the most advanced Corvette ever. But Elliot,
Look, it's not Tyler.
Elvis is here to take me through this, because you're like, I don't know, the kind of the Corvette guru, I would say. Is that a nice name?
Yeah, I'll accept
Corvette
it.
Whisperer?
For sure.
The Corvette Idiot Savant? Is that? No,
yes,
that's not very nice.
Corvette Autist, for sure. And this is an incredible car, but to understand how we got here, I figured since we're at Barrett-Jackson, Scottsdale, here in January, they have every generation of Corvettes. So let's take a journey and figure out how we got here.
Aww.
So, do you want to learn about some Corvettes today, April?
We're going to take a journey through Corvette land. Yeah, I'm ready.
All right.
But this one's wild.
This is nuts. This is 1,250 horsepower of all-wheel drive twin-turbo Corvette. The fastest, most powerful Corvette ever. 0 to 60 in under 2 seconds. Did the quarter mile in 8.6 seconds.
Right. But the thing is, like, it didn't have race slicks.
No, these are on the street tires that it came with. I mean, these are hypercar numbers from an American manufacturer.
Yeah.
Under $400,000. There's nothing that even comes close to this.
Right. Well, I think that starts around 209 is the base.
And that's a lot, but it is an absolute bargain compared to the cars it's competing with.
But it looks similar to the ZR1.
Right. And the main thing is the X.
The badging.
Externally, you really can't tell much other than there's a little extra cooler in the front, but because this has an electric front motor giving it like an extra 180 horsepower, making it all-wheel drive makes all the difference.
But they made it a little more efficient than the E-Ray. I think there's like 26% more power than the E-Ray. So it's like, it's faster, it's more advanced. This is the only one-of-one color. That's why this is a one-of-one. They're never going to use that color
And you kind of see the stars and stripes here going up. So very subtle.
The Stars and Steel edition. They're going to make 250 of them because it's America's 250th birthday.
And wow, what a way to celebrate with America's coolest, most powerful, most technologically advanced car. But let's take a journey back in time all the way to the first Corvettes. And let's see how different it got to be here.
With this one.
I know. We'll come back to it. I promise.
It's amazing. Okay, let's go.
I wanna take you for a ride in my brand new car. My brand new car. My brand new car. Gonna take you for a ride in my brand new car. My brand new car.
Elliot, we found the C1. This is where it all started, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So this is a 1954 Corvette. The first year was 1953.
Right.
But this is exactly what they look like.
I wanted to find a 1953. The first year's so cool.
I know.
They only made how many?
300.
Are you
Just
sure?
300. Yes,
300?
I'm positive.
Okay, cool.
And
I'm testing you.
They were more like promotional vehicles too, so they weren't something you could just go and buy. They were almost like a design exercise from GM, being like, what do people think of these? Do people want them?
Right.
And the reception was good enough that they decided to put them into full production in 1954.
But like, so here's the thing: people weren't excited about that Blue Flame engine. Can you tell me a little bit about it?
So yeah, the Corvettes we think of now are all V8 fire-breathing monsters, and the very first Corvettes, these were just inline sixes, and they're all available with only a Power Glide 2-speed automatic. So not exactly the sports car we were thinking of.
Right. Why do you think they did that? Why don't you think they like really made it a sports car?
Well, back in 53 and 54, GM didn't really have a small block V8. They just didn't have one. And these were kind of modeled after the British sports cars that people were bringing back after World War II. They were like, oh yeah, they're kind of inline 6, inline 4 power, lightweight and fast. So this was the European version of a sports car. So we just made an American version.
Do you know if they made any changes from 53 to 54?
Pretty much almost none. I mean, like, it's such minimal things. Like 54 has a hood release on one side.
See, these are the things I want to know.
Yeah, there's nothing. I mean, like I said, it would take a real expert to be able to identify, especially this.
Oh, so you're admitting you're not a real expert?
No.
I'm just kidding. Okay. Here's
but this is how it was. In 53, they were all this color. There was no options. They were white with red interior.
Do you know why they were white?
I don't know of a real reason other than it was simple to make them all the same color.
They were white because no one really made production cars in fiberglass bodies, and so they're kind of experimenting with them, and white kind of hides imperfections the most, and so that's why they were all painted polo white.
But
come check it out, because also European cars, like, I don't know, European roads and people were a lot smaller.
Yes.
So let's take this, because I want you to see the inside. Look how small it is in there. Like, do you think you could fit in it?
And honestly, look at the space between the seat and the steering wheel. That's my hand. You know, I've driven one of these a lot, and you gotta slide under that steering wheel, and then the top of my head is coming out of the windshield.
So you have to slide your thighs. But do they have the tilt-up steering wheel?
Not like the Gullwing.
Wait,
no,
how do you?
This seat crunches quite a bit, but yeah, it's a big old steering wheel, and it's not a lot of go fast, which it was fast for its time.
Right.
But this was a Harley Earl design exercise. I mean, every single thing about it is meant to look good, not be efficient. So there's no door handles, which was pretty, you know, unheard of at the time. No windows.
So you have the exhaust coming out of the actual body.
Yes, which is such a cool design piece. And then even this clear plexiglass over the tail, over the license plate is to not interrupt the body line. I mean, everything about it was to look good first. This, like I said, I love that about this generation. Style first, everything else later.
Yeah.
Now, of course, if you know the history of Corvettes, these didn't really sell that well because they were very expensive. They were about as much as a Cadillac.
Really?
And people were kind of like, they didn't know what a sports car was, because you got to remember there was a time when that wasn't a thing.
Right.
And people were wondering, why am I paying as much for a Cadillac for a car with no door handles, no windows,
and no massive fins and crazy chrome all the pullover? Yeah.
So they didn't sell that well. GM refreshed the C1, which is why it's interesting that you'll see this. This is a C1, and if you see one of the cars with the coves, that's also a C1, even though it's a different body style.
Right. My favorite is the C2.
Gotcha.
Let's go find it.
Let's go find one.
Yes, exactly. Right here, the C2, first year, 1963, and it has the split window. I'm gonna take you down.
Nice.
This is my favorite part. It is so freaking cool, that split window back there.
Yes.
So here's the thing, George Barris, like famous car designer, I even saw one where he took out the split window because like it wasn't in vogue, and so he designed it to not have that. The problem was people thought that the split window, it was hard to see out of the back of, so they did it for 1 year only. But I think it's cool because it has this like spine divided
all the way through.
Right.
Yeah. It's such a cool design. And like I said, this is still kind of thing. They were like design first, although this was a lot more performance by this point. But yeah, this is the first year that you could get a hardtop on a Corvette. So before this, 53 through 62, convertible only. Yes,
just
you could
messing
get
up your hair the
hardtops.
whole time.
But yes, this is the first body style you could get a fixed roof Corvette, and of course they did it with a bang with the iconic split window. And like you said, it's actually really interesting, knowing what we know now of how valuable and desirable these split windows are, is that at the time people would essentially sawzall that out and put another piece of solid glass in there, because the next year and every year after this it was a solid piece of glass.
And I think they sell kits to put them in there when people have like a 64 or beyond. You can put that split window in, which is kind of weird to do.
Yeah, it is. But the thing is that's funny is because everyone's trying to keep up with the Joneses, everyone knew you had a 63 if you had the split window. But remember, if it's 1965, you didn't want to look like you had an old Corvette. So people would cut it out and be like, no, it's a 65.
Oh, that's cool.
So people were trying to keep up with the Joneses.
That's like doing maintenance, right? And you're like, no, I'm not that old.
But knowing now, it's an absolute sacrilege that anyone ever cut these out. But this one's really cool. This is obviously a split window. I love that it's red. Most of these are like white, silver, and black. And this one is one of the highly desirable fuel-injected models. So,
do you know when they came out with those?
57.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is really cool. It's got the aircraft-style doors that cut into the roof. You got your cookie cutters up top. I think they wanted to make them somewhat functional. Ran out of time.
And this is the 63 is the only year that they have them on there. Even though they're not real, 64, it still has this same style of hood and they're just gone.
Are these real knockoff wheels?
These are the hubcaps, but they have the fake spinners. You'll know the real knockoffs, they have kind of like a wire, but yeah, these are still cool. Like I said, this is still a fuelie, so this is as desirable as a 63 can pretty much get. It's a 63 split window fuelie.
Also, one other nugget with these is back in the day, they spelled Stingray in 2 words. When they brought it back, it's 1 word, but they're 2 words, Stingray. It's a really sweet design. I love these sort of rocket style taillights.
If you never have to worry about which side of the pump to fill up on, because it's in the center. So you can pull up on either side.
I don't go to the gas station. What are you talking about? That's why I got married.
There you go.
All right, now we're off to the C3.
Off to C3 land.
We'll see you there. We found this C3 right here. It's so cool. I love this point at the leading edge, just cutting through the wind. It's kind of a sexy body.
Yes. So the last body style we were showing you, the 63, they were kind of doing the Stingray thing. This is kind of a shark theme.
Aha.
So the designer of this car actually had a Mako shark on his wall that he took design inputs from. And these are just cool. Like I said,
What years did they make them to?
So this is actually, C3 lasted a really long time. It lasted from 68 to 82.
Wow.
It was a very, very long run. These things got really choked up towards the end, which is why I like 68 through 72.
Right.
They were still all style and big motors and all horsepower. And after that, it was just less and less and less horsepower.
What's the biggest motor that these guys got?
So you could get these with a big block. You get them with a 427. Of course, they had the L88. The L88's made up at about 560 horsepower in the 60s.
Whoa.
Which is
So is there anything
nuts.
like competitive with that? Or was this like the top dog as far as power?
Well, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, yes, this is the top dog as far as power. But of course, Mopar was making some big horsepower stuff. So was Ford. But I don't think anything was touching the L88 ZL1 stuff that Corvette was making. This car in particular we're looking at right now is just a regular, and I'm doing air quotes here, 350 car. But this is how most of them would have been. And remember, still 350 is still making about 350 horsepower in 69.
Right.
When your normal car was 110 horsepower, your normal family car. This is an absolute monster. But this thing also
It's got the original Windows sticker.
Hey, yeah, that's cool.
Look at that.
$5,000. I'll take it for $5,000 right now.
That's amazing. I love the look of these with the hips. It's like that
hips. It's-
Coke bottle styling.
Absolutely, yeah. They were wide, they were fast, they were powerful. It's pretty much what you need in a race car.
Love it. Let's find the C4. We have found the C4. I know this is your favorite, and I have no idea why. I mean, like, they're cool, but like, why?
I'm in the minority here, and I know that internet, so before you go, what is this guy like the C4? Well, you got to remember, the C3 went very, very long, and towards the end, it was really, really bad. And honestly, when the C4 first came out, it was also not a lot of horsepower there, but it was the first full redesign since the 60s for the Corvette. So we took a massive leap forward in technology and development, chassis strength, and everything. So this was really the first modern Corvette.
Do you know what they did to the chassis to make it stronger?
Well, it's a unibody now instead of being a body on frame, which everything else before it was. So that was big. And in fact, it was strong enough that before this, you had the removable tops on the C3s. Well, now it was a T-top back then, and now it's a single piece target top.
Love the seats. They look really comfortable.
They are, and they're very supportive. But one of the things you'll see when we go to the C5, they almost were too supportive, and they took those away.
Wait, how does it too supportive? What does that mean? Because Tyler's like obsessed with his Escalade seats, the 05, because they're so supportive and luxurious and wonderful.
Yes.
Like, that's nice.
Well, so these hug you like for corners and stuff like that. They're a little tight around here. But what they found out is that the average Corvette buyer is a bigger gentleman. And so they opened those side bolsters up, and now you get your fat man Corvette, and they pretty much
said it, not me.
They pretty much said it. And if we were able to open this up, it has a huge sill right here. So one of the things is it's hard to get in and out of, and then the seat was really tight. So if you were any bigger than I am, you would feel like claustrophobic.
Well, so there's like this thing in fashion too, where back in the day they didn't make bigger size in clothes because they're like, oh, we don't want people like whatever, it's not cool. And do you think they did that with Corvettes too?
It must have. I think they just looked at their average buyer, which was an older guy, and they're like, this guy just wants a car he can get in and out of. And you know what? It's fine. Marketing,
So what about the body? Do you love about these?
I just love the shape, especially this. This is a refresh car. So the early 84 through really 90, they were very angular, and even the back had like acute angles and stuff like that. But in 90,
acute.
Yes,
we're getting acute here.
Yeah. But they refreshed the body style. They rounded it a little bit more, made it a little bit more modern. And this particular car is a ZR1. You got your base Corvette for about $35,000, and then if you wanted the ZR1, it was an option for another $35,000.
You're kidding? It was double the price for a ZR1.
It was double the price for this car.
That's amazing.
So what did you get for that? Well, you got an entirely Lotus engineered engine, chassis, totally hand built. It was built on a separate production line. It's hard to tell from here, but it's actually wider in the rear. And then the main thing here is this engine. It's a dual overcam V8 that makes 375 horsepower and later 405. So these were absolute monsters. They had magazines back then. They called them the King of the Hill. Basically these were world beaters back then.
I those pop-up headlights in there too.
Yes. And on these, I wish we could do it again. They spin all the way around. They don't just pop up. They do this little dance. Everything about this car is so cool. And this is one of the last cars.
At the time, this was the largest single piece of fiberglass that they'd ever made. You open up the entire front of the car, the top of the wheel, the suspension, everything. These have gotten not a lot of love over the years. ZR1s and the Grand Sports, which were the most special.
But you love them.
I love them.
And that's all that matters.
Yes.
Let's move on.
Yes.
Elliot, why are we in different outfits right now? What's happened?
It's a twofold issue.
Okay, twofold.
So I wandered off to go shopping under coercion. And then we ended up.
What's under coercion?
There were some other staff members who said now is the time.
People made you go shopping.
I felt influenced.
Okay.
We're influencers, and I got influenced.
Right. And if you hear the cars behind us, there's that ride and drive going on. It's pretty cool. Have you ever done that?
Yes, it's awesome. It's the most fun. It's one of the coolest things you can do here at Barrett Jackson. But anyway,
C5.
I lost track of time, and now we're in different outfits.
Yeah.
So anyway, it's a C5. This one was very far away from the others, but in difference to the C4, I know we ended on a ZR1, but this again, like the C4, was a total redesign. So they did a redesign for the C4, and then they were like, all right, we're gonna redesign it again. So this is now really, really modern architecture for a Corvette. Now base horsepower is at 350 compared to 300. And this particular example is really cool. It's a 2003 anniversary car. So this was the 50th anniversary.
They had a lot of anniversaries. I feel like Corvette has the most anniversaries out of any car.
They did, but it's a long running sports car. It's over 70 years. You could really call the C5 the really first modern Corvette.
The really first modern Corvette. That's a good term. Here, let's check out this ride and drive.
Yes.
Wait, how do you drift an electric car?
Dodge actually lets you like turn the traction control off and everything, which is unlike like Tesla and stuff, which you kind of have to brake to get that to happen. I think it's really cool of Dodge to do that. But they also they're drifting the inline 6 ones as well. So that's what this red one coming up is the new inline 6 Charger. Oh, well, this is the cool off.
We found the C6, but it looks like different. Is this a different one?
Well, this is a Grand Sport.
Okay.
So this is not like, so the C6 came out in 05.
Right.
And this is the 2010. So think of this as like a middle of the pack C6, but I really like these for a lot of reasons.
But the headlights look different.
Yes, oh yes, that's the main thing. So pop-ups for years. So ever since the C3, we've had pop-up headlights, but now regulations made it so that pop-up headlights were no longer legal back in 05.
Wait, why don't they like pop-ups?
I think it's a pedestrian safety thing.
Like it's
like if you get hit, it's going to make it worse. I mean, if you get hit with a Corvette, it's going to hurt. Pop-ups or not, in my opinion.
But Cybertrucks are okay somehow.
Exactly. Base horsepower is 405, so keep incrementally getting better and better. By this one, this is a Grand Sport, so think of this as like a mid-cycle refresh. This has the LS3, so now it has 430 horsepower. And this one had a lot of stuff on it that is cool. So this is basically like a Z06 without the Z06 motor. So it has like bigger Z06 brakes, brake cooling, a lot more aggressive bodywork. And I think this is the one to have because you can still get it in convertible and target top, whereas the Z06 of this generation is hard top only.
So what's your preference though? Are you a convertible guy or a hard top guy? Because I don't know if you want to mess up your hair.
Yes, my beautiful hair. No, I kind of like the coupes because you can still take the top off, so it's both.
Right.
But in this generation, I think the convertibles do look pretty cool. I know, comments in the thing are going to be like, but you can't take it to the track, it's not as stiff.
Sure.
You know, it's just fun to drive.
It's not as stiff. That's what he said.
But anyway, these are cool. I really like these. I'm obviously partial to yellow.
Right.
I think if you get a sports car,
why are you partial to yellow?
I have a yellow Corvette.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Okay.
But
do you know the name of this color?
This would have been Millennium Yellow.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice job.
There's Velocity Yellow and Millennium Yellow.
Sure.
I'm very sure.
Okay, cool.
Because I had mine repainted in like an 07 Millennium Yellow.
Right.
And so, yeah.
Can we just address your VinWiki shirt? Oh, yes. Representing. Ed Valiant.
Shout out, Ed.
C7 is next.
C7's next. Let's go find one.
Freddie's back there saying bang for your buck, bang for your buck, bang for your buck, like every single Corvette owner ever. This is special.
Elliot, we found the C7.
We did, and it's
like
a heck of a
away.
C7. I know,
Voila.
but it's a heck of a C7. So, as you know, or as you've learned throughout the years, they've had Corvette, and they've had a little middle one, and then they've had a ZR1. So it's like Z06, ZR1 traditionally. So we found the ZR1. We just skipped straight to the top.
Right.
On the
Just went
C7.
like the base one. What was it, horsepower?
Base
Because we were
one.
like getting higher and higher every generation.
Yes, so now they were at 455, or if you got the Z51 package, 460.
Okay.
Because of the exhaust and other things. But this is really when Corvettes got really technologically advanced. So the Z51 package gave you an electronic differential in the rear,
What?
like a Ferrari. Like I said, you've got all sorts of way cool stuff. So now it's direct injection from the LT1 V8.
What?
I know. But everything's bigger horsepower now because we've really figured out how to make horsepower in a modern car. So not only big horsepower in the stock car, but the Z06 now has 650 horsepower, which means the ZR1 has 755 horsepower, which is monstrous.
Yeah, baby. And it's a little more like angular, I
Yes.
feel like. They went to a different body.
They did, and I really like this. I think as far as the front engine Corvettes go, the C7 is as cool as they looked. And of course, the ZR1 is as extreme as they looked. And this just is so cool.
So the ZR1, you got all this aero up
Major
front.
aero, you got this stuff. This is actually part of the engine. And this is actually why they couldn't sell them in overseas, because the engine is exposed. So for their pedestrian safety standards,
Which is way higher and way
Yeah.
better because they care about their citizens more.
Right.
Well, actually, the roads are like really tiny and small.
yes, you wouldn't want to drive
So
this wide thing on
more
there.
dangerous.
But the ZR1, absolute monster. Especially also worth noting because this is a convertible. This is the first year you could ever get a convertible ZR1. Normally fixed roof only, and then in this generation you could get it with the targa top and a full convertible. And then this one has the ZTK package, which gave you the more aggressive aero and then the huge wing, which I've always thought looks kind of hilarious on the
It does.
convertible. So if we walk around here, you want your big wang for downforce, but it's kind of funny when the air isn't coming back here naturally. It just looks like you have a massive wing on an otherwise, like, there's nothing until the windshield on the
You
car.
look important.
Yes, you look important, or you look like a
Compensating.
teenager who stuck a huge wing on your Corvette. That being said, they're still very expensive and very cool. Also, another note, this is the first ZR1 you can get in automatic, which a lot of people are like, boo.
Eh.
I'm telling you, I've driven both, and the automatics on these cars, because it's so powerful, you just put your foot in it, and it just stays in the power, and your face melts. But I really, really love this C7, the last of the traditional Corvettes, and this is, as I think I would say and others have said, this is as much as you can do with a front engine layout, as much horsepower reasonably to make it go as fast as you possibly can with a front engine and rear wheel drive. So the natural progression wants to change it in a big way.
Let's go see the C8.
Who could have ever imagined in 1953 the Corvette would become this, beating any supercar or exotic from Europe or anywhere else in the world? Nothing can touch this.
Next bid is $2 million. There it is.
We found a C8, but this one's the E-Ray.
This one's the E-Ray. They do have the regular C8 over here, but now we've had a transformation. The
Right.
engine has gone from the front to the middle. And like I said, this was always going to happen. This was Chevy's dream since like the 60s.
Right, I feel like one of the engineers wanted to put it back in.
Zorakis Duntov wanted it to be
Zora.
in the middle for years, and they kept experimenting. They made several concepts. They've been wanting to make the mid-engine car forever because it was just the natural progression of, if you want something to handle really well, that's just where it is.
So it's like better balance then.
It's better balance. I mean, think about it. All the high performance Ferraris, Lamborghinis, it's always been there.
Yeah.
But those have always been high dollar, and Americans always been the performance bargain. And I think it would have been simply too much to manufacture. It's not that we couldn't do it. It would have made the price point of the Corvette right up there with Ferrari and Lamborghini. Like I said, this is the E-Ray, so this is kind of the middle of the pack, which is hard to say because it's 655 horsepower.
Yeah.
And it's all-wheel drive for the first time in a Corvette with help of an electric motor in the front. So if you think about it, and this is putting it a disservice, it's kind of like the Prius of Corvettes. It's gasoline powered and electric. It's a hybrid, but you can't plug it in. But it's hybrid in the best way.
You also have a Prius.
I do have a Prius.
So you're partial to them. What I'm always curious about is like, how long did it take them to decide to
This
do
jagged
this
thing?
cutout? Like, were they sitting in the office and like, no, Clark, it should be 3 inches, and no, it should be 2. Like,
I like it though. I like that they didn't just go, hey, because it could have just been from here and a straight line over. But with the ridges in the hood, everything about this, I just love. And honestly, I've driven every body style of Corvette ever. These are probably the best all-around Corvettes.
do you think they should go all electric?
No, I think they would lose their soul. I think it'd be okay if they had an all-electric model.
Right.
but they've got to keep offering the gas models, and that's why I like the E-Ray. It's both. It's the old
So you
pushrod
prefer the
V8.
E-Ray?
If I were to get one other than the ZR1, which we'll get
over here.
to, this has the flat plane crank, but with twin turbos making 1,064 horsepower, which is insane. That Corvettes are making 1,000
When
horsepower.
you hit 1,000, it's just like,
It's
that's
insane.
awesome.
Rear wheel drive. I mean, bonkers.
Big wang.
Big wang. The return of the split window on the coupes at least. So that was a big deal. But it gets crazier and it gets better. We got to return to the ZR1X.
Here we go. There she is.
All right, there she is. So now you get the combination of everything of these last three cars. You get a flat plane, or dual overhead cam, flat plane crank V8 with twin turbos and the electric motor from the E-Ray, making over 1,250 horsepower. This thing is just, this is everything I didn't even know a Corvette could be.
So do you like that they have the electric element in there?
I do, because making a mechanical all-wheel drive car would have made it heavier and more complicated. This is a great way to get more traction, more power, more instant torque with not having to run big drive shafts through the length of the car or anything like that. I think this is the best way of using our technology. And like I said, I couldn't geek out over this car harder if I wanted to.
So I want to hear your prediction. Like if you worked for Chevrolet, they're designing the C9. Like what should they do?
See, that's
Elliot's version.
You've presented this idea to me, and it's like, how do we get better than this?
Right.
How does it get better? So every year, incrementally, every body style, the base horsepower has gone up. So I think we're still looking at a mid-engine platform, just more, maybe wider, maybe more efficient turbos.
How are you going to park it anywhere? You want you want a wider.
That's a good, no, I'm just saying, I think we're almost at the limit of what rubber can do.
Yeah.
So I don't know, I am going to be astonished at how they top this, but the engineers at GM always find a way.
What do you think is like the weakest point mechanically in cars right now? Like back in the day when they're introducing horsepower, but then tire technology needed to catch up with it. Like, are we in that moment right now?
We're back in that
so
moment.
Professional.
I think that was a really good question. So back in the 60s when we looked at that C3, it could get 560 horsepower and the tires were this wide.
Right.
Now we figured out, make tires this wide, but when you have 1,250 horsepower, even this isn't enough.
Yeah.
So it's a good question. I don't know. Maybe new rubber compound, even wider tires. We're really, like I said, we're kind of at the limit of what internal combustion cars can do.
Yeah.
But I'm excited to see what's next, and I'm really stoked that this even exists at all.
This exists. It's sold for $2.6 million. Woo!
That was an exciting moment to be there for.
It was very cool. Very beautiful car. I love it. Would you drive it or would you garage it? Is this like the collector that you don't want to damage?
No, I would drive the heck out of this. I would daily drive this. I mean, this is so cool.
All right. Thanks, Elliot, for your expertise.
Thanks for having me on.
My arm is dying right now, though. Follow Elliot Elvis for more Corvette Cartism.